Welcome, 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 everybody. Welcome to episode 3 of Scandi in the City. I won't lie and say that I'm not a little bit nervous because I have obviously had two of my friends on for the first episode, but this is my first one riding solo, and I'm a little bit nervous because I do feel like I'm airing some stuff out. I'm naturally quite a private person in the sense, not like about posting stuff, I'm pretty open with that, but in the sense of like who I date, kind of what I get up to, obviously living in London, I keep that part quite private. And I feel like by doing an episode with my top best and worst dating moments in London, I do feel like I'm sharing the deepest, darkest secrets that I've got. So I have the worst taste in men. So if I've dated you, I want you to find a mirror, walk over to it, look at yourself, take a long, hard look at yourself and go to therapy. Go work on yourself, please. So I was thinking, you know, when you ask someone, what do you want, good news or bad news? Everyone normally does tend to say bad news first. So we'll start off with the bad. We will start off with the worst, and then we can only get better from that, right? So guys, I dated a professional football player. I know what you're thinking. Why the hell would you ever do that? But, you know, I'm just a girly. Like, I'm sorry. Flattery gets you everywhere with me. And these men, they're not fucking idiots. They know what they're doing. As you all may not know, but I am exclusively on one dating app. Raya is the only one that I'm on at the moment. Maybe the podcast, maybe we'll do a couple of things on Hinge because it's quite fun. But as of now, I'm only on Raya. So I was on Raya one day. This was quite a while ago this happened now. I must add. And I matched. I remember I saw this guy. He was a footballer. He played for a professional team in Europe. Sound very American when I say in Europe. But yeah, in Europe. And I don't want to say which country it is because I feel like it's really obvious then if I say which one it is. We matched and I was like, oh my God, like I like to think like I'm a girl of some good caliber. But even I did think, I was like, oh, Sofia, like he's a little bit out of your league. But I was like, no, do you know what? Fake it till you make it. I deserve this. So we matched and we started speaking. He actually messaged me and I was a bit like, go me. So we started speaking. All in all, me and this man, from start to finish, we were speaking for over 3 months. We started speaking. Everything was Gucci. Everything was great. He's from a Scandinavian country, but he was obviously playing for this other team. And we were speaking. We spoke pretty much like every day. It was really, really good vibes. Like he was just I don't know, like I think the more I spoke to him, the more the whole professional aspect just like withered away. And I really, really, really liked him. Like he was so, so lovely. And we got on like a house on fire. So we were speaking every day and he was like, I want to come over to London. And I was like, go off, King. Please, like, let's go, come to London. But obviously he was like, I don't get that much time off. And obviously to come over for a weekend, like it could be a bit of a pain. So obviously by this point, we had been FaceTiming a lot. And he was like, okay, like I'm coming over to London in a few weeks. I got quite excited because, you know when you speak to someone for a long time and you FaceTime and it's just like, it's exciting. So we speak. He then comes over to London and he was like, oh, we should do this and we should do this. But he was actually only over in London for like, I think it was like a day and a half. Like he literally had like no time there whatsoever. He also had friends he wanted to see. So I was like, all good. Why don't, let's just go out for dinner somewhere. I love a wine bar. Wine bars. If someone says, Sofia, we're going to a wine bar, I'll be like, I'm there. If I'm down in the dumps, if I'm crying, if, I'm sick, if someone just mentions WB, cheeky wine bar, I'm up. I'm dressed and I'm there. So one of my favourite wine bars in Notting Hill, Franklin's Wine Bar. If you haven't been, get to know. It's beautiful. So obviously he puts me in an Uber and we meet up. And this man is very, very, very lovely. He's really, really nice. He's got that, even though he's obviously not English, he's obviously Scandinavian, but he's very, very smooth talking and he's a real sweetheart. We have a really, really nice date. We drink a lot of wine. I drink far too much wine, which actually I realise is quite a reoccurring problem with me. I don't know why, but there's something about downing a bottle of wine is like water to me. We end up obviously just getting a lot of food, getting some wine, and it's just really good vibes. Like we had talked about on the phone, but when we were now doing it in person, and it got quite late. Like the bar was shutting, and obviously then, you know, he was like, do you want to go somewhere else? I was pretty good, actually. I was really good. It was really late. I had to be up early the next day. Oh, I say early-ish, like 9 a.m. And for me, that is really early. And, you know, in the moment, you've got to play it a little bit hard to get. I'm not a big game player, but sometimes you've got to be smart about what you're doing. So I was like, no, you know, like, thank you so much. Like, obviously inviting me out afterwards with your friends, but got to keep wanting more. So I was just like, I really should get going. Like, thank you so much for tonight. I've had a really, really great time. He ends up obviously leaving. I end up leaving. I end up going home, and he keeps messaging a lot. And by this point, he's quite keen. I'm quite keen as well, but I'm a soppy ass bitch. Like, I'm the soppiest bitch you will probably ever meet, but I will not show it when I first get to know you. Even if I may feel it, I am the soppiest bitch, and I will hide it behind like 10 layers of walls. So I was just being like quite, not cold, but I was being quite standoffish, you may say. So we keep talking. He ends up flying back to the country where he plays, and he's obviously just playing football, yada yada yada. I'm carrying on with my life, and we keep talking. It's a little less, but it's still, we're pretty much like talking every day, but not like 24 hours every day. We're just talking, and we still FaceTime pretty much every like couple of days, and like the vibes are really, really good. So he starts mentioning, by this point we're nearing 3 months. We were nearing like the 3-month mark of us like talking, and he was like, I'm coming back to London. And I was like, brilliant. He was essentially like, I'm coming back to London. I was really happy. I thought we had such a nice time, and I was like, I really, really want to get to know you better. And obviously we were thinking about making it more of like an occasion. Instead of just having like dinner or something or like some drinks, we'd actually like make a whole day of it, potentially even a weekend. He was like, I'm going to make sure I come over for more than a day. You know, he was like, I'm going to come over for a week. All is good. All is Gucci. And suddenly, nearing up to it, this was probably a week before he came. It's still talking, but he suddenly got a lot quieter, which made me, you know, when you girls have a gut feeling, and I started to have a bit of a gut feeling. I was like, oh God, I think something, I'm not sure, but I was like, don't let it like affect you, just like let it go. And he's like, I'm in London. And I was like, I know. You told me you were going to land at this time. Well, it's the day, so hopefully you have landed. And he suddenly just like went dead silent for like majority of the day. And I was just like, okay, it's a bit of a red flag, but fine. And I was like, oh, like if you want to like tour guide, or like I can take you like to some of the places, you know, we can go, like I have like all these like restaurant recommendations. We can go see London together if you want. But obviously he just wasn't replying. Gets to the evening and he was like, I'm so sorry. I've just been really, really, really busy. So I'm like, that's fine. Like, obviously, I get it. You're busy. Fine, whatever. Even though I was a bit miffed. So now it's Saturday, and he was like, what are you doing tonight? And he was like, my friends and I, we've got a VIP section at Tape, which is a club in central London. It's quite nice. I really love it there. I've been there a few times. And he was like, I know I said I was going to be able to see you today, but like, it's not working out as it seems. Like my friends have just surprised me with all these plans. And I was just like, it's fine, like whatever, you know, because he had the whole, like another 4 days after the weekend. So I was just like, oh, we'll obviously just spend time together then. I end up dragging one of my friends to this club. He was like, get to Tape for 11:45. So I get to the club and I'm messaging him. I'm like, by the way, like we're going to be there in 20 minutes. We're just getting an Uber. We're standing outside Tape, and obviously what you don't know about Tape is you have the entrance, but you've got like bouncers like everywhere, and it was starting to chuck it down with rain, and we were not dressed for rain. So obviously these bouncers standing there holding umbrellas, and obviously I've messaged him being like, we're here, and he finally replies back saying, just go in, like there's a table, like my name, just say my name and like go in, and then we'll meet you there. We're going to be there in like 20 minutes. So I was like, fine. Say to the bouncer, I'm like, hey, you know, we're with yada yada yada, triple barrel name, and they're just like, well, we can't let you in until he's here. And I'm just like, literally imagine two girls there just like shivering. We're like, oh, it was so cold though, please let us in. Like, and he was just, I'm really sorry, like I can't. So obviously I just said, I was like, I messaged him back being like, they're not letting us in, we'll just wait for you. 35 minutes past the message he sent me. So this was about 40 minutes by the time he'd messaged back saying just go in, and we had been waiting there, and I was fuming because I was just a bit like, I don't know, I just thought it was just like, it's fine. I know there's a lot of red flags already, but I just didn't care at the time. So he ends up coming, and the minute he gets out, he's there with this whole fucking entourage. Julian, you guys are finally here. We all hug, you know, it's all good juju. And he's like, right, let's just go in. So we go into the club, and this VIP section is big, massive, just alcohol everywhere. And obviously you have these waiters, and they just like assist you. You just say, can I have this drink? And they'll get it for you. We're having like a really fun time, and suddenly the vibes feel restored. Good juju, everything is good. It's getting quite late at this point, and like we're just all dancing, having a really fun time, and his friends are so lovely. They all play for like other teams, and there was one girl, she played in the women's team for Chelsea. And then suddenly he's like, Sophia, like come over. So obviously I then go sit next to him, and he is drunk as a skunk, like drunk. And he says in his fucking Scandinavian accent, oh, you're so pretty, you know, I'm just so glad like we've been speaking, and like I'm just so glad I've met you. This hand, right? Imagine it. Whoop! Right up my dress. And I flinched. I was like, ooh, thank you. Like, that's very kind of you, but no, thank you. You're very drunk, and like, don't touch me like that. He was obviously like, oh, sorry. He was like, I just find you so beautiful. And I was just like, okay, ew. But I think girls know, like in the moment, I was like, no, like it's fine. But in the moment, he had already ruined it. Everything that we had, like all the 3 months we'd spent like getting to know each other, ruined it in a flat second. I'm then like, I'm just gonna go get another drink. And I sit next to him, he doesn't put his hand all the way back up there, but he puts it close enough that I'm just like, you're actually too drunk, like I'm not, please, like. And I kind of like gently like push him off, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go to the toilet. So I literally down my drink, and then I go to the toilet. I swear I was only in the bathroom for like 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes maybe, checking my phone, because yeah. And suddenly I come back, and this group of girls are now suddenly in the area where we were. And I was like, oh, ooh, you know, okay. And he's then there, and he's chatting to this blonde girl. And this blonde girl is stunning. She is stunning. Like a skinnier, blonder, prettier version of me. And I'm just like, oh... oh, okay. I was like, oh, fuck. I was like, fuck, whatever. And he comes up and he's like, Sophia, like, this is my stepsister. And I'm like, oh, lovely to meet you. Like, shaking her fucking hand and all. I turn around and I go get a drink, and like, I'm dancing. I'm having a really good time, like, with some of his friends. And about 10 minutes later, I turn around. Imagine, set the scene, me, pretend I'm her, and like, he's like here. And he's like this, or other way around, or pretend I'm him and this is her. He's like this, and he's like, and he's got his hand up her fucking dress, just like he did to me. And they're full on like tongues, like tongue match in each other's mouths. And I'm just stood there like I could not actually fathom what I was saying. Number one, obviously not his fucking stepsister, you absolute rank fuck. But he was just, they were full on going at it. And I just stood there, genuinely felt like an eternity, just going like, and obviously my friend saw it, and she was like, what the actual fuck? I'm not even upset. I'm fucking fuming. I'm angry that I've wasted my time, wasted the last how many months talking to this absolute knobhead, that the minute I wouldn't obviously give out, and that's like, gets another gal in. And then I'm suddenly old news, and this makes me so angry. So I'm spitting blood by this point, and I'm just stood there like, I cannot believe it. I'm done. I'm absolutely done. I don't want to be here anymore. I want to go. So I run to the bathroom, go to the toilet, just kind of compose myself while my friend comes with me, and she's just like, fuck, doing the classic, you know, bathroom girly thing. Fuck him. And I'm just there like, I'm in shock. I can't believe I've been such a fucking idiot. Long story short, I then leave the bathroom, and I'm going. As I'm walking back, one of his best friends, who also is Scandinavian, is like one of his like childhood best friends, who also plays for another European professional team. He sees me, and I'm just spitting blood, and he's just like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I'm going home. I'm going home, like, screw this, you guys can stay. Like, obviously I said to my friend, I was like, you stay, you have a good time, like, I'm out. And he literally grabs me by the arm and he's like, don't leave, please don't leave. He was like, fuck him. And he was suddenly cursing out his supposed best friend, his childhood best friend. He was cursing him out. So I was like, oh, that's a bit weird. But I was like, anyway, you do you. He was just like, just stay, like, let me grab you another drink. Like, the VIP section's really big. Like, we'll have our own area. Screw him. And, you know, he's made his own bed. Let him sleep in it. He's going to regret it in the morning. I only stayed for like probably another hour after that. And I just couldn't get it out of my head. However nice this guy was, however nice his best friend was, I was like, I can't get this out of my head. And I was quite upset. So I ended up just saying to my friend, I was like, and my friend who I brought all the time was absolutely fucked up. She was fucked up. She was so drunk. So we were like, we should probably go home. So we jump in an Uber, and my friend, she was literally just like tapping on my leg, being like, I'm gonna throw up. So we made the Uber driver pull over, and she throws up everywhere, luckily outside. And then I'm just crying my eyes out by this point. She's so drunk she doesn't even realise how upset I am, which is obviously not her fault, but I was just bawling while patting her, being like, it's okay, you're okay. And so yeah, and then I ended up going home and I just cried my eyes out. Yeah, long story short, that's what happened. He then messaged me the next day and he was like, Sophia, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Like, I was so drunk. And he just kept apologizing, and I was literally just like, I don't care. I don't care that you're a professional footballer. I don't care that you make all this money. Like, I actually just don't give two shits. You're just not it. You're not for me. And that was literally it. I unfollowed him, and then he pretty much unfollowed me straight away and then blocked me. So he's unblocked me now though. How many, like a year later, he's unblocked me now. Actually, it's more than a year later. It's been like a year and a half later, he's now just unblocked me. So obviously can't be that mad. So that's it. That is the story of when I dated a professional. I didn't even say dated, because we actually didn't date. We just went on a date and then spoke for like 3 months. Now, ready for part 2. My hand looks awful. Part 2. This is my next bad story. Well, we could say it was bad, but it was good and it was bad. This might shock you. Dad, I'm really, really sorry. It's not your fault. Mum, it's also not your fault. But I love an older man. I really do like an older man. I wouldn't say I date them a lot, but like if the right one comes along, those older men. You know, they say to like young women that we're like, you got to watch out for these older men. They haven't got good intentions. These older men need to watch out for me. These fine ass older men need to watch out for me. Lock your doors. Lock those big, heavy, rich doors. So set the scene. I'm at the rooftop in St. James's. So I was out for a drink with my friend Molly. It's one of my favorite rooftop bars. I love it. I've never had a bad night there. So we were over there. We were having drinks, catching up. This was after work one day. And suddenly, like, we're just yapping away, having some food and stuff, just having a really, really nice dinner. I'm not a big red wine drinker, but this one place has got my absolute favorite Malbec. I don't like Malbec, but this one brand bottle, bellissimo. I love it. It is beautiful. So we're yapping away, just doing what girls do. We're dressed up quite nice, like, you know, we were wearing cute like work stuff. And suddenly, like, out of the corner of my eye, like, these two people sit down, these two men, and it's kind of sat, so like his friend is sat like there and he sat there, my friend sat, I'm like cornered like this in a booth. She's like sat, my friend sat there. So we were kind of like in slightly direct eye contact. And I kept, you know, when you're just talking, you're like, hi, yeah. And this man, imagine prime Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom. I mean, tanned, Harrison Ford, like, just, oh, woof. And suddenly, we obviously, you know, like, I wouldn't say with older men I'm not as confident. With younger men, like, oh my god, fucking good luck. But with older men, I do get a little bit more shy and a bit more conservative. And I just remember, like, I kept looking over and he kept smiling. He was like a really nice, genuine smile, and I was a bit like, huh. He then sent over another bottle of the Malbec that we were having. And we were like, and obviously the guy was like, that's from the lovely gentleman over there. So I was like, brilliant. So we were, now I was just like, and Molly was like, oh, he likes you. I was like, no, he probably likes you. You know, the whole typical, no, he probably likes you. He doesn't like me. We were done by this point. So he's already like, they were only having drinks. Him, I don't know if it was like a business meeting or something, but they had like drinks and stuff, and then they left. And he just walked past the table. Not even like a smile, just literally like walks like straight past him. And I was just like, eh? Long story short, we then get the bill and the waiter, and it's like a bill, it's like got a tray, like a little bill tray, but there's no bill on it, just a business card. And the waiter was like, the gentleman that sent you the bottle of wine has also paid for your guy's bill. So I was just like, oh my god. So on the business card, I picked it up, and he's just like handwritten his personal mobile on it, flipped around on the back, and it just said dinner Thursday ? It was a Tuesday night. So obviously Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it was 2 days. And I was like, I ended up obviously texting him saying like, thank you so much for like buying a dinner, and obviously with an extra bottle of wine. Like it wasn't like an extortionate dinner, but with the extra bottle of wine as well, like it wouldn't have been like super cheap. So we end up talking on and off, and he tells me a little bit about himself. And this one I really don't want to I'm not going to spill too much information on, because it doesn't feel right to fully spill a lot of tea on this one, considering how it then ended. Let's just say he was a real grown-up man who did a real grown-up job, to say the least. Obviously, Thursday comes around and he sends a car, and we go to Madison's, which is a rooftop bar in St. Paul's. I mean, this man dressed up so nicely. He was just so well dressed, and the conversation is great. I'm not gonna lie, we're having a really great time. Drinks are flowing. I'm drinking a ton of cocktails because I love a good cocktail. We have starters, we have nibbles, we have starters, nibbles, mains, and we've eaten, and we've just ordered desserts by this point. And I'm thinking, oh my god, maybe this is the one. It wasn't the one. We're literally waiting. We've just ordered another round of cocktails, and suddenly his face goes white. His face drops. And I'm thinking, are you okay? Obviously, I'm quite tipsy at this point. I'm just like, are you okay? Like, what's wrong? And he was like, no, nothing. Like, it's fine. Suddenly, he like looks down, and I'm just like, what is going on? I shit you not, one of the most beautiful women. Like, don't get me wrong, she wasn't like a model stunning, but she was a bit older. I don't know how old exactly, but she was definitely in her 40s, and she was like just really, really beautiful. And stops like here, and she's looking over, and she goes, oh, Indiana Jones. Obviously I'm not gonna say his fucking real name, but she's like, oh, Indiana Jones. You having a good night? And her voice is like, are you having a good night? The most absolute like tight ass voice, but in the most like, you get the vibe. And she's like, you having a good night? And I'm like, and she's like, hi. And she tells me her name, and I shake her hand. I'm like, oh, like, lovely to meet you. And I'm just like, the vibe has gotten so weird. And she's moved around. She's just standing like by the table, and he is just not saying anything. Like his face, like genuinely, he takes the biggest gulp. He takes the biggest sip of wine, like fully just downs it. And I'm like, what is this? What is going on? Someone tell me. Someone fill me in. She took one look at me, and she took one look at him, and then one look at me again, and one look at him again. And then she says, couldn't have waited till the divorce had finalised. Could you? And I was like, are you married? I was like, are you married? He's then like, Sophia, we're not married. We're getting a divorce. Like, we're not together. And this man loses his composure slightly. These businessmen can never really fully lose their composure. And he starts getting really angry at her. He's like, I'm out. I'm having a nice night. Like, why are you here? And she was just like, well, I'm allowed to be here. This is my area. This is where I live. You shouldn't be taking your dates out in the area where I live. And I was just like, oh my God, this is where it goes like really wrong. If it hadn't already gone wrong, but it had gone like really wrong. And he was like, I'm done. He was just like, I'm done with this. I'm done with you. You know, the typical ramblings of a man who's actually, in fact, not fully divorced yet. This was quite graceful of her because she did look at me and she was just, I think she actually looked at me and I think she felt a bit guilty because it's, in the end, like, it wasn't my fault. But she was like, I'm sorry to have ruined your night. She was like, but you're dodging a bullet here. And I kind of knew it. I was like, yeah, do you know what? I think you're fucking right. You know, one for the girls. Yeah, he ends up getting up and he ends up leaving. The man's done for some reason. This is royally fucking pissed him off. He is Indiana Jones. Couldn't complete the mission, couldn't complete the quest, and this man was done. He paid the bill, thank God. And he was just like, I'm really sorry. Like, this is not how I wanted the night to go. And he was like, maybe I can see you another time. I was just like, where are you going? The man was fucking leaving. And I was like, but my tiramisu's just come. And he's like, I'm so sorry, Sofia. I'll give you a message. I'll give you a message another day. So the man fucking leaves. Thank God he paid the bill because I couldn't afford that bill. I couldn't afford it. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I'm not that upset. Like, you know, deep down, you know you dodged a bullet. So I had literally just finished like spooning my tiramisu. I'm done. I'm pretty much done at this point. I get up and I go over and I actually pass where the wife is sitting. Obviously, she's there with some other man. Don't know who he is. Controversial. And I just say to him, like, I'm so sorry. Because, you know, the absolute guilt I do feel, I'm just like, I'm so sorry. Like, I never meant to be like, I don't want to be like a homewrecker or something. Like, it was never like my intention. And she was like, it's not the first time he'd done this. You know, they'd been separated apparently a while from what she said. She was like, they still share a house in Chelsea. Because she was like, the divorce hasn't finalised, which is even more awkward. Yeah, she was just like, it's not your fault and I'm really sorry for ruining your night. And she did offer, she was like, would you like to sit and just like have a couple of drinks on me as like an apology? And I said, like, that's very kind of you, but I need to go home. And yep, and I never spoke to either of them ever again. And I gave him 3 days to message and he never did, so I blocked him. And he's still blocked to this day. What a fucking asshole. So that is all we have for the bad ones. We do have 3 really, really good ones, which I'm very excited to share. But obviously I will do that in the next episode. Yeah. Tune in for part 2. Bye bye. Bye.